The Woman King is the historical epic inspired by the true events that happened in the kingdom of Dahomey. Well, by truth, maybe check out this article, link in the bio, see for yourself. But anyways, the kingdom of Dahomey, one of the most powerful states of Africa in the 18th and 19th centuries. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by. My name is Joseph Curtis, and if you love movies just as much as me, you have come to the right place. Now, do me a huge solid and click that like and subscribe. And also, if you want to follow me on the following social platforms, that would be great as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the truthful story, The Woman King. Imagine Martin Luther King has a film, and there's been plenty, one of them being Selma, great movie, but imagine the great speech, right? I have a dream, and it's not in the film. That's a really pivotal moment. And for you to take out something that is to the core of that character kind of ruins the essence of the true story. And that's just one example of many that I could say. And that's kind of what happens with this film. And I see this movie in two ways. One, as a film, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, I should just judge this film by the craftsmanship, the acting, the editing, the cinematography, all the typical Hollywood things, right? But I'm also looking at it in the sense of a film that is inspired by a true story that tweaks a whole lot of what it should have been at its core, and telling a truthful, honest story of this time. And I gotta say, it's kind of disheartening to see. This is gonna be a very different review. I'm probably not gonna do the whole what worked, what didn't. So I'm just gonna go free range. Here I am. This is the authentic me. And what did I think about this film? Raw stuff. And overall, I enjoyed this film. It is entertaining and there is some good action. It's fine. The performances in this film is honestly the highlight, especially from Viola Davis, Lashana Lynch, and the newcomer, Thuso Mbedu. This girl is gonna go far. She is really, really good. Everybody does a solid job. Viola Davis is a powerhouse. It's nothing Oscar worthy though, honestly. They all came in, they did their part to the best of their abilities, but nothing to me was earth shattering or this is the scene of the year. Look at how emotional they are. And the story in general is an interesting concept. It is a film that has a lot of heavy themes. Obviously, it's dealing with things like the slave trade and alliances with the British and, hey, give us some slaves and we will take some ammunition. We'll take some weapons. Hey, you didn't give me the proper amount of guns, so I'm going to take 5 of your people away. No, we're not going to do that. Actually, you can do this instead. Here's 10 of my people, and we want to keep the port open so we can have more slaves come through or slaves go out. Really, really hard conversations that are transpiring between these two different kingdoms. And it's kind of interesting when you realize they kind of tackle the controversy behind the film in full focus in the very beginning, where, yes, this tribe did sell people. They had a slave trade. It's really interesting when you find out actually what ended or how the slave trade ended with the kingdom of Dahomey and how it's represented here. At least from the article down below and other resources that I've seen, is not accurate at all. Personally, for me, I see it as a film that has a lot of true story attempts that are totally misfired. And then I just see a movie that's inspired by true events, but it's a film, right? They can just do whatever they want. But how far should it go, really? Where do we draw the line when it comes to fact and fiction with a true story like this? And I feel like a story like this should have majority of fact, not fiction. Maybe that's just me. The story is great in concept. It's very epic. It's a warrior film. It is a war movie. It has violence. It has important themes. It has very sad moments of reality check of, wow, this actually happened 200 years ago. That's kind of crazy. Thank God we don't live in those time periods anymore where we're allowing certain things that happened in our world. And honestly, though, sadly, I think some of the stuff is still happening, but it's obviously not as mainstreamed as it was back then. Yeah, I guess that's really it for the positives is The story's great. There's a lot of good moments within the story, and some of the concepts they are executed in a good fashion, especially with character moments between Mbedu and Lynch. They are probably the highlight of the film. Their dynamic is really solid. I really felt the heartbeat between them. Viola Davis does a great job with her character moments as well with Thuso and Mbedu. But where the film falls apart for me is within the editing. And that's the part I didn't expect to be jarring, because from the trailers, it looked fantastic. The action looked visceral, the editing looked on point, but that's the thing with trailers. Trailers can make something appear as what it's actually not. It's actually not this. And I'm not saying entirely this movie is false marketing. No, I'm not saying that at all. Yes, there are war aspects to this film. There are actually 3 big action sequences. This movie should have been rated R. That's one of the biggest disappointing aspects in it as well, is the editing and the editing around the action. Because blood and gore do not make a film better. But with this story, the premise of it, the idea of people with machetes and swords and, old style guns, and it takes place in the 18th, 19th century, you would think they wouldn't be as scared to show us the death blows, the death kills, the fatalities, right? But this film is like the king of going down right before the kill, right before the stab, and then panning up to the person doing the action. Literally, this is the king of film, of editing like that. It was so jarring to me, because when you look at the trailer, you really feel like this movie is going to be very violent and very bloody. In some aspects, it does have violence, but it's tamed down to that PG-13 standard. And to me, that really wasn't satisfying. It wasn't fulfilling. And another thing with the editing is the pacing. The first hour just felt so oddly placed, in the sense of sequences upon another sequence upon another sequence, from one setting to the next setting. It just felt really awkward in moments. Certain scenes would flow really nicely, but then just abruptly end and then start in the middle of a scene that felt like happened 4 minutes ago, and we're just thrown in. And there's also a subplot in this film that deals with a romantic angle that really wasn't needed. It wasn't terrible, but it feels like it's almost in an entirely, like we're thrown into an entirely different movie. And at the end of the day, this is just a film, so people are taking their creative liberties and portraying a true event story on the screen as best as they can. But weirdly, for this film, it felt like they were purposely retooling historical moments to serve the people of today, the audience of today, to inspire us. And that's cool, and I'm totally fine with that. But I'm not a historian. I'm not somebody who's a professional at this. I may be completely wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Jump in the comment section and give me a history lesson. And I'm not being sarcastic. I actually want to know the facts about this. But for right now, I'm pretty sure big key moments in this film, when it comes to the heart of characters and the big moments that defy this kingdom, is not translated in a truthful manner. If you love Viola Davis, if you love Lashana Lynch, if you love historical epics with some good action sequences, and you're fine with not having some blood in your film, I think you're gonna have a good time. And with that being said, I'm going to give The Woman King a solid 6.5 out of 10. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this review. It really means a lot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, don't forget to be blessed.